Hello and welcome to the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Von Arx, here with my co-host, Carrie Egler. And in today's episode, we are discussing common print on demand myths. But we're not just gonna debunk these myths. We're actually also gonna share actionable advice on how you can overcome some common challenges. But first, real quick, before we begin, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review on whichever platform you're listening from. Or if you are listening from YouTube, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. With that, thank you so much. We are so glad you're here, and let's dive in.
Adrian, we're back. What's going on, man?
Hey man, I am doing good. Let's see what's new with me. I recently did a soft launch for my program, T-Shirt Legends Academy.
Awesome.
So that was really exciting. Today we did our welcome call, which was super fun, super cool, meeting new and existing print-on-demand sellers. So
Awesome.
so that was a really good time. Aside from that, not a whole lot. How about yourself?
Man, I was just telling you before the call, I just got a basketball goal or a basketball hoop for my son. And,
Nice.
and like it's our neighborhood is crazy. They don't let you have basketball hoops.
What?
Yeah, like they think they look too, I don't know, ghetto is the right word or whatever. They're,
Aesthetically unpleasing.
yeah, it's silly because you could buy like a really nice one and get it in ground and all that stuff. So just snooty people. So there's nothing in the HOA or in the covenants that say you can't have like a roll away one and just put it away when you're not playing it. So we kind of just risk it for the biscuit. Like we just got one yesterday, and we got like a nice looking one and everything, but like it was not fun putting it together. It took me like a day and a half to put it together, but my son is out there right now just shooting hoops in the front. And whenever we're done, we're going to have to like wheel it into the garage or like in the backyard or something to kind of hide it from everybody. But so that's exciting, man. I've been playing a lot of pickleball. I'm just sports all the time.
Dude, you're just a jock these days.
I know, man. Why was I not a jock like in high school? Could have had all the ladies, but didn't. Anyways,
Cool.
let's jump in, man. Let's do this.
Yeah. That's awesome. So today we are talking about common print on demand myths. And I'm sure if you're listening to this and if you've been kind of researching or in print on demand for a while, you're probably going to recognize a lot of these. So we want to essentially debunk some of the most common ones we hear, not saying that they're not all entirely legitimate, but we also want to give you guys some actionable advice because it's so easy to say, oh, that's false or that's true. Like we want to give you guys actionable advice that you can, apply. So let's start. I'm gonna take myth number one here, and guys, I'm gonna go a little savage here because this is one that I hear all the time, and I just do not buy this myth. Obviously, like I've been doing this since 2016. I've made over six figures every single year consistently since 2017. Actually, I hit my first, since 2017. And I just don't buy this at all. The myth is that print on demand is too saturated. Yes, it's saturated. Yes, there are a lot of people in print on demand, but there are also a ton of people making a lot of money in print on demand. And those using very effective strategies are completely outperforming the others. It's kind of like that 80-20 rule, Pareto's law, where you've got like 20% of people getting 80% of the results. So I always hear people say that the t-shirt and apparel market is oversaturated. And I just want to kind of try to put this tired excuse to bed because I've heard it ever since I started. Literally since 2016, people have been telling me that it's too oversaturated and you can't make money. Yet I still consistently make five figures every single month in sales. And there are countless other print on demand business owners, including new ones that do as well. Like I don't want to like just talk about myself. Like I have a friend who's a seven-figure business owner who started their business in 2020. and they surpassed my results. Like it's so impressive. She got to $1 million in, I want to say like 18 months or something, like something crazy. And during that time, there were a lot of people that were saying like, oh, you can't make money in 2020 in print on demand. It's just not true. Like it's
why would people be
factually
buying
untrue.
t-shirts when they're locked at home? Well, they did, boys and girls. I don't know.
They did. Well, they also couldn't go to the store and buy them during that time, so they had to. But it's just something that I've heard for so long, and ironically, many people that say this, they haven't even tried to start a print-on-demand business, or they gave up on themselves before they saw success. There are a lot of people that look into it and then they hear these random people giving them unsolicited advice saying, oh, it's oversaturated, that they don't even know. And then if you take that at face value, maybe you won't even look into it any further. But what you'll realize that there's a lot of very successful people here that are doing really well, and they're not going to tell you that it's oversaturated because they're running very profitable businesses. So another point I want to mention is that just because one person gave up on themselves before they saw success or didn't even give it a try doesn't mean that's going to be you, the listener. Like, you do not need to be that person. There's a quote that I love that says, do not take advice from people who have not been where you want to go. And I think that's so true. Like, look who's giving the advice. Like, where is this advice coming from? And I think that a lot of the people that will tell you it's too saturated, or maybe all the people that'll tell you it's too saturated, are either those that never tried or those that gave up before they saw success. This is just an excuse that a lot of people use to talk themselves out of taking action. And it is a prime example of a scarcity mindset. So I just want to quash that. I want to let everyone listening to know that you are absolutely capable of this. Do not let anyone tell you different. If I can do this, anybody can do this. So, like Carrie and I have had a lot of success with this, but we're nothing special. I mean, I'm sure you'd agree, Carrie. We're normal guys that just work really hard, and we've had results. But so anyone can do this. This is nothing crazy. So next time you hear someone tell you that print on demand is too saturated, I want you to ask yourself these questions. First, has this person ever even tried starting a print on demand business? Secondly, if so, how long did they try for? And third, what were their results? Did they ever see success during the time that they tried? If they didn't see success, you should not be taking advice from them. Instead, talk to someone who has had success in the space, and you'll get very different advice. I promise you'll get very different advice. So yes, t-shirt and apparel is a saturated marketplace if you're competing with every other t-shirt business in the world. But that's not what we teach. We teach you to carve out a chunk of the market, find a subset of that t-shirt or apparel, whatever it is, population, and niche down and target those people. All of a sudden, your competitors shrink significantly. Like, if you're just selling a blank black t-shirt, yeah, very saturated. But if you're selling it to pickleball enthusiasts and you create a whole brand around pickleball enthusiasts, dude, you don't actually have that much competition. Pickleball is super new. It's growing like crazy. And I haven't seen a lot. I know there are some, but I haven't seen a ton of pickleball t-shirt brands out there. So now let me shift to the actionable advice. So here are some ways that you can significantly increase your chances of success with print on demand. First, choose a niche and niche down to differentiate yourself from other t-shirt and apparel businesses. Next, find additional ways to differentiate from competitors aside from just your niche. Maybe you're offering unique products. Maybe you don't even sell t-shirts. Like, t-shirts have actually never been my best-selling product, ever. It's always been either hoodies or hats. Those are my best-selling products. Like, yes, the biggest market is in t-shirts. I think it's over 70% of print on demand sales are in t-shirts, something like that.
I think it's, the last I saw was 58, 60%, somewhere in there, but it's somewhere in that range of 60 to 70%.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's high.
It's
Like
really high. Yeah.
very likely over 50%. However, you can actually differentiate yourself by your products. You don't even need to sell t-shirts if you don't want. You could be known for something else. You can offer unique products. You can create a premium lifestyle brand to differentiate yourself. You can do other things to differentiate, like donating a portion of your profits to a relevant cause, to your niche, something like that. There are a lot of ways to differentiate yourself from competitors after finding a niche. Another one is lead with value. Don't just post your products to social media. Give people a reason to follow you on social media, email, and purchase from your shop. Maybe you create super helpful content in a specific niche. Let's say you're in the fitness niche and you create content around workout tips. That's going to be very relevant to your niche, and they might follow you for your workout tips and eventually buy something from you. A lot of people don't buy right away, or maybe you don't have a product that they like right away, and then you drop a product because they're on your email list and they're like, oh my God, this is fire. Like, I need this shirt. And then all of a sudden they become a customer. You want to nurture these people over time, but these are just other ways that you can significantly increase your chance of success. If you're let's say that you're in the gardening niche, you could give gardening tips. If you're in the hiking niche, you can share fun facts about national parks. Or you can share funny, relatable memes about about whatever niche that you're in. There are so many ways to offer value and attract followers and customers and differentiate yourself. The next tip I would say, the next actionable advice I would say for significantly increasing your chance of success with print on demand is follow a proven, fully comprehensive roadmap. I think one of the biggest struggles for newbies is that they create designs, they build their website, they post their products to social media, and then they just kind of wait for the sales to come in. They hope that people will find them on social media, but they don't really have any strategy for driving traffic or building up their social media following or anything. And sadly, hope is not a strategy. Like, you don't want to just hope. You need an action plan. And that strategy of just building a shop, creating designs, and then just posting your products to social media, that alone didn't work ever. That never worked back in 2016 when I started, and it still doesn't work today. Like, you need to do more than that. And that is why having a proven, fully comprehensive roadmap is so valuable. It essentially handholds you through the process. If you're not following a roadmap, I don't blame you for not seeing success. I wouldn't have had success if I didn't follow a proven plan. I would not. And I didn't at the beginning. I didn't follow a proven plan. I went on YouTube and Google for everything, and my first print on demand business failed miserably. We never made a single sale. It was terrible. I made so many so many mistakes. It's not even funny. So guys, I relate. Like, I have been there. It was only when I got that roadmap, that fully comprehensive roadmap, that I was able to get myself on track, know where I was, and then follow that roadmap. And that's what eventually led me to the success that I had. And then the last thing I'll say about this for actionable advice on how to significantly increase your chance of being successful with print on demand is invest in training from experts who have actually been successful in this space. People who have created businesses. A lot of the successful t-shirt and apparel brand owners that I know, they invest in themselves. In fact, every 6 and 7 figure t-shirt brand owner that I've ever met has invested in themselves. They didn't go it alone. They did not just figure it out through YouTube and Google. They invested in training and coaching from people who've had success in this space and they followed the success roadmap that those coaches provided them. Carrie, you have an awesome roadmap. I believe I have an awesome roadmap. And there's a lot of other coaches out there that have really good roadmaps that are going to tell you, this is how I did it, and this is how you can do it too. And I know, Carrie, you still invest in coaching for yourself because you're always trying to get better. I invest in coaching for 100%. Myself over the years. I've easily invested over $10,000 in coaching and training. And as I mentioned before, I'm still part of 3 paid coaching communities because I believe personally that if you're not growing, you're dying in life and in business. That is just my own personal philosophy. So I'm gonna drop the mic right
Just
there.
drop it, dude. Just
I'm
drop
just
it.
gonna drop the mic there.
It's
So
too good.
end of speech.
I know.
Your
I
thoughts,
man,
Jared?
I think the not to I mean you said it great. The only things that I would say, talking about t-shirts specifically, they've been around since 1889. That's a bajillion years if you're wondering.
Long time.
The average American owns 27 t-shirts. I have too many. They're bursting at the seams. I bought another one yesterday. It's just like the demand's there, like it's just t-shirts are going to continue to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the silly thing about it is when we see the haters that are like, it's so saturated, you can't make money. It's like the t-shirt is not the thing you're selling. You're selling the design. The design
Mm-hmm.
is what makes it unique. And I know, there's so many other opportunities with print on demand. We talked about, this isn't about just t-shirts, but talking about t-shirts specifically, the numbers speak for themselves. We just said 60 to 70% of print on demand orders are t-shirts. That tells you the demand is there. But if you think about it this way, if you've got two canvases and two people paint on those canvases, right? They're both canvases, but because they painted on top of them, they're unique one of one pieces of art.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were in the canvas business, you could probably go get a blank canvas from 10 different companies and you're selling the exact same product and you're going to have to compete on price. That's the only way you're going to be able to compete because they're the exact same canvas. But as soon as you put a painting on that canvas, it becomes its own unique product that's not competing with the other canvas, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a unique design. And that's what we're doing is we're building these brands with unique designs, and t-shirts, that's just the canvas that we're painting on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I wanted to add. The saturation thing is it's just silly. It's silly. Pick a niche, differentiate based off your niche, your customer, all these different things that we talked about, and you'll do great.
Yep. 100%.
Okay. Myth number 2, the profit margins are too low. Yeah, I mean, this goes right along with everything we've been talking about. It's just what we see so often is if the haters aren't saying it's saturated, they're saying the profit margins just aren't there. But I just got one news flash for you. And I mean, you know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
If you're a business owner, guess what? You get to charge whatever you want. You can charge whatever you want. You set the price. So you're not at the mercy of these prices. You set your own price, right? If the t-shirt costs $20 to get fulfilled, just charge $40. It's like, it's not that hard, right? Like I know we think as a new brand owners or new apparel, print on demand sellers, we think like people won't buy this at this price. I have to make it low cost. It's just not true, right? It's just not true. You can set your own prices. And what you might be thinking is like, if I'm going to charge a premium price. And by the way, I actually think profit margins are really good on a lot of print on demand products. And we just did an episode. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already. It was episode number 9, and it was on high profit print on demand products. We just covered a couple really good ones, but there's a lot of really high margin print on demand products. But I think the margin in general is pretty good on a lot of print on demand products. But how do you sell at those premium prices? And it's through creating a premium experience and through like focusing on the benefits of your brand. And there are many ways to do that, right? Your imagery and your mock-ups, having higher quality mock-ups. One that I just put out a video on that's like one of the most important things you can do, social proof in reviews. Having more social proof creates that FOMO. People see other people like them buying your products. They're going to want it, right? Focusing on the benefits and not the features, talking about how your product's going to benefit them, having a professional looking, trustworthy, optimized website, having great customer service, having quick shipping, having good quality, all those kind of things, and so much more. You mentioned earlier, this super side tip, but a way to increase perceived value, charge higher prices. You mentioned earlier, if you were like a health coach and you were doing tips and advice, man, thinking about a good strategy, thinking about if there's any piece of digital content you could add into your products to where when they buy a t-shirt, let's say, they get a free ebook with that, right? You can add value to that.
Yeah.
You get a free consultation, you get whatever, a free course with it, or even if it's just a PDF that has, the top 10 tips for having a healthy dog, right? They just bought the dog t-shirt, but hey, we're going to give you our 10 tips, PDF for keeping your dog healthy, whatever. Those kind of things add additional value. And so stop thinking, how can I lower my prices? Start thinking, how can I increase the value so that I can charge premium prices?
Yes.
And so, but the biggest thing here is just like, set your pricing where it's going to be profitable. Set your pricing where you will make profit, and then figure out, don't think, how do I lower it? Think about how can I sell it at this price? What can I do to make it sell at this price? And you'll do great. I think in general, the profit margins aren't too low in general, but if you're feeling that, like, increase the value.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really well said. I totally agree. Like, you just said it so well. Like, don't lower your prices, increase your value, or even the perceived value, because people are buying online, they don't get to touch, feel, try on these products. So you might have to focus on perceived value, what they're going to get, and then deliver on that. But yeah, I mean,
man, how much more important are reviews when you're buying online versus going in the store? I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. And in fact, most people, when they go into stores now, they're actually on their phone researching the product, looking for reviews. It's like, man, reviews. Yeah. You just said it so great. It's like, you go to a website, you can't actually try on a t-shirt or try on a product. You have to rely on the reviews from actual people who have received the product and can give you like that real feedback. And so it's just so important that you do these things, and that you really you really think about the entire experience that people are having on your website and how you can increase the value and make them want that product more.
Yeah. And I just think about myself, like shopping online. Like, if I go to one website and a t-shirt is, let's say, like $29.99, because I would just personally never buy like a $18 t-shirt. If it was online, I would be like, it's probably just crap quality, and I'm just not even going to try. I'm not even going to try. So that's just me personally. And I think there's a lot of people like that too, that like the price, there's perceived value with the price. So if you're dropping your t-shirts, if you're selling them for like 15, 20 bucks, I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, it's probably really low quality. And that might actually deter them. I prefer higher quality t-shirts. Like, I'm wearing a Lululemon t-shirt right now because I wear t-shirts all the time, and I really appreciate the quality, and I'll pay more for that. But I'm just thinking about myself shopping online. If I see a t-shirt, let's say it's $29.99 and it has 0 reviews, and it's on a website that looks a little sketch, a little sus, not too sure about the website. It doesn't have any social proof. The images are low quality, a little grainy. There's not really any branding here. And then if I see a t-shirt for, let's say, $34.99 on a website, and it looks like the same shirt or similar, and it's on like this high quality website with like 50 reviews, and it's got social proof, and they've got good imagery and lifestyle imagery, people that look like me wearing the t-shirt, that allow me to imagine myself wearing it, I would very likely go to that one for $34.99, because I wouldn't trust the $29.99 one as much. And I believe there was I forget where I saw this, but I saw that a lot of times when people are presented with 3 options, like low, medium, and premium options, the majority of people go with the middle, because they think the low is going to be cheap and they're going to be disappointed. The premium they think is too expensive, and they feel safe in the middle. And I just feel like a lot of people might feel like that with clothing as well. Like, people see other print-on-demand sellers, see other print-on-demand sellers selling t-shirts for like $15, maybe $16, and they're like, oh, how can I compete? It's like, beat them in every way on the value proposition. Like, over deliver on value and perceived value. That's how you compete. You do not need to lower your price. A lot of people aren't even going to consider those t-shirts. You just got to be better in those ways of raising value and perceived value.
Hit us with myth number 3, Adrian.
Cool. Myth number 3, you can only make sales if you run paid ads. Now, let me just say,
we love paid ads.
to be fair, paid ads are awesome. If you have a winning t-shirt, paid ads are going to take you to a whole other level. Like, they are an absolute game changer. I like to think of them as amplifiers. But until you find that winner, and even if you have a winner and you're not comfortable running paid ads or you don't know how to do them or anything, there are definitely lots of ways to make free organic sales. You can leverage free marketing channels to drive traffic to your website. This is what I love about things like social media. Social media is like free real estate online. You can post to social media all you want. And I'm just talking about social media. There are actually so many ways to drive traffic, but just social media alone, you can, it allows you to publicly create and share like valuable content that can drive traffic to your website. There's potential for your post to go viral. There's the ability to easily build relationships with influencers. There's the ability to easily build relationships with customers through DMs. You can pretty much DM anybody. You can even DM celebrities if you want, you can collaborate with other brands, influencers, or creators to get exposure. That's super popular. A lot of people, when they're launching a new brand or new products, they'll reach out to a bunch of influencers in their space and be like, hey, can I send you a new product? Like, we're a young new company. We're really passionate about baseball. And, we were just hoping we could send you some product and you can maybe give us a shout out or something like that. There's so many ways that you can work with different creators, influencers, or other brands, like partner up with them. And there are a ton of niche specific communities that you can join, engage with, or even create yourself. There are just so many ways. I feel like this could and should be like an episode on its own. I think in the future we should do one and break down different marketing channels and talk about them. But that's kind of what I have for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it on rolling. Myth number 4, it's cheaper to print your own t-shirts. Talking about t-shirts specifically, not just print on demand. This one's super common. People just, it's interesting because if you just look at it on the surface, yes, in theory, it's cheaper to print your own t-shirts. It can potentially give you more margin. I think definitely people, number one, don't think about the whole picture. If you're going to print them yourself, number one, you got to invest in equipment. You got to have the right equipment to do it, which I would argue if you're brand new, even the quality of it's probably not going to be even on par with print on demand because there's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be difficult. If you're just doing a heat press or something like that, it's like, is the quality going to be there? Maybe, maybe not. But you got to invest in equipment. And then another thing people don't think about, a couple things people don't think about, ink in your printer and paper for your shipping label and bags to put your items in. And, little stickers that you have to put the shipping label in or tape it to the, tape to put it on there. And then the biggest one that people don't think about is their time actually fulfilling the orders. Now, I think most people listening to this, you're aware, but with print on demand, you don't have to do anything. You literally just create the product and sell it, and then you don't have to do anything. It's all done for you. So when you're looking at these prices on print on demand websites, you're looking and you're saying, oh man, this belling canvas on Printful's $13 to have. Now first of all, you got to understand that's printed, folded, packaged, shipped. Like you didn't have to even drive to the post office to drop off the orders. They're doing it for you. So when you factor in all that and you start to really break down the costs of print on demand and you go, okay, this t-shirt probably costs $3. Printing it probably costs let's say another $2. That's $5. The shipping materials, maybe that's another $1. That's $6. The labor that they're paying to actually print this t-shirt, that might be another $15, $20. Who knows? I mean, even conservatively, let's say it's $3 or $4, right? You're already approaching $10 in cost right there, right? it's just, it doesn't make sense to do it yourself when you're just starting out, and especially if you are a new print on demand seller. And it's really not cheaper because you need to value your time at such a high level as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, right? Your time is very valuable, and you only have so much time that you can put into your business, and you need to focus your time on revenue generating activities like marketing and the things. And one thing we just talked about, improving your product pages, improving the product experience, which is going to increase conversion rate, which is going to bring you more sales, right? So focusing on these needle moving activities and things that will actually make an impact to your bank account and make your bank account larger. Fulfillment and printing your own t-shirts is not one of those things. So leave it to the pros, right? So it's, in theory, it's cheaper, but when you really factor in your time and how much your time is worth as a business owner, it's definitely not cheaper. And last thing I would say is, like I actually have a spreadsheet where I've broken it down, and I've actually mathed out like my, what is the actual cost of a t-shirt if I were to do everything myself. And it's pretty shocking. Like, it was considerably higher than I would pay with print on demand. And another reason I didn't even mention here that I'm just thinking of, I want to mention is, remember when you're printing your own t-shirts, you have to usually order these t-shirts in bulk, and you're just guessing on sizes. You're just completely guessing. So there's always wasted products. And what I mean by that is, let's say you order 50 t-shirts, you literally are just guessing. You say, I think I'm going to need 10 smalls and 10 mediums and 10 larges and 10 XLs or whatever. And you got 50 t-shirts, but then all anybody wants is medium and larges or whatever. Maybe they want smalls and XLs, and you're just left with that product that you may just end up losing out on. If that t-shirt isn't popular anymore or whatever the case may be, you can't sell those sizes. They just sit, and you just lose that money, and that's wasted product costs. Where with print on demand, you just sell one order at a time. You only pay for orders that you sell. You only pay for products that you sell. So that's another thing. So it's just like, when you really start to break down the numbers, it's pretty shocking to discover that print on demand really isn't more expensive. In most cases, it's cheaper, especially when you start to put out some volume and your time as a business owner becomes more valuable. Was that a mic drop?
That was well said. That was well said. I think, to summarize, really, your time is much more valuable working on the business than in the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, think about if you had to hire someone on an hourly rate. Let's say you had to hire one person or one person to print. Let's say you hired like someone who's just like, they just printed shirts like on a DTG, and then you hired another person to do the marketing. Who do you think you would pay more for?
Probably the marketing.
You would pay significantly more for the marketing person. Like, you can hire people to print shirts for probably like $10 an hour. But if you want like an effective marketer, you're gonna have to pay them a whole lot more.
I would say minimum 60, 70 grand a year on full time. That's like bare minimum.
Yeah. But like, you can be that marketer, or you can be the printer that's working for $10 an hour.
That's true. Valuing the activities in your business. I've heard many people teach that. It's such a good tip. Whereas if you actually sat down and you just made a chart of $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever your chart looks like, what activities are worth. And you might say, okay, printing t-shirts, that's a $5 activity. Packaging, that's like a $1 activity, as anybody could do that, right? But then you go like, okay, marketing, oh man, that's a $20 activity. And you start to add, you start to just kind of like categorize these things, right? Customer service, that might be a $5 or a $10. Maybe it's a $10 activity, right? Maybe it's on the lower end, maybe a little more important, those kind of things. Like, you start to really look at that, and it brings so much clarity, and you can really see that you as the business owner need to be focused on the higher value activities.
100%. That's the first thing I outsource is customer support when I'm scaling a business. So in my two businesses, both, the first thing that I outsourced was customer support, and that just freed up so much more time to spend on marketing and other revenue generating activity, like dropping designs and stuff like that.
Yep.
There's a really good book that I don't know if you've read it, Carrie, called The E-Myth by Martin Gerber.
Nope.
Or Michael Gerber, sorry. It's called The E-Myth: Why Most Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. And essentially the entire premise of that book is that you need to work on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
And I think that is where the print on demand model really shines over something like printing from home. Like if you want to print from home, if you're enjoying it, and maybe it's like an outlet for you, maybe you actually find it really enjoyable. But like if you're not finding it enjoyable, if you're it's not the best use of your time as a business owner. There's so much more you could and should be doing, really.
Hmm.
So I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to throw shade on all the people out there printing their own shirts, because
Nothing
that's
wrong with that at
totally
all.
cool.
Yeah.
Like it's totally fine. It's at the end of the day, it's totally up to you. But we're trying to make a case for why print on demand actually makes more sense than printing your own shirts. And there's
In
so
most
much more we
cases.
could talk about with this. I won't even, like, there's so many more things I want to say, but
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I'll move on to myth number 5 is that print on demand has poor print quality. People are like, oh, the quality sucks. And okay, there's two main points I want to make about this. First of all, it depends on the printing technique. So print on demand generally uses DTG, or direct to garment printing, which is a method that sprays ink onto garments and is similar to printing on paper. And there are a lot of pros to direct to garment. It's great for complex multicolor designs. It's generally better than something like screen printing for complex multicolor designs. The designs remain uncracked over time, unlike some other printing techniques like screen printing. Designs aren't stiff and they feel more comfortable for the wearer because the design is just, I don't know how to say it, like baked into the fabric. It's sprayed on there. It's not like
But
a
I think
hard, stale.
everybody's okay. If you've ever had that T-shirt, I mean, lots of people have. It's got the thick ink, and it's got big blocky
Scratchy.
text, and you put it on. Well, for me, it's always I sweat a lot,
Yeah.
so like if I sweat, you feel that ink. It's sticking on the inside. It's like sticking to your body. It's whereas like a T-shirt will like absorb your sweat. Like it kind of absorbs it. But if you have that big blocky text, it like sticks, and it's so gross. That's such a gross feeling to me. But that's screen printed, because screen printed is like thick, nasty. Screen printing is not bad, but
Yeah.
it can be very like thick and heavy,
Right.
and it can feel really gross, especially if you sweat. Anyways,
Yeah. And we're not trying to hate on screen printing. I actually
No,
think
it's awesome.
screen printing is awesome.
Me too,
I'm just
same.
trying to say where some of the areas that direct to garment shines is like when making a case against screen printing, which I do both. And I love doing both. I think some shirts look better screen printed and some look better with DTG. But I also think DTG is the best technique for printing full color photographs, which is great for personalized products. So if you have like a personalized product of your dog on your shirt or of your partner or something like that, it's going to be way better than trying to do that screen printed. I think most screen printers probably wouldn't even do it. They're like, no, we can't do a full color photograph on screen printing, because screen printing, the more colors you use, the more complex it gets, the more expensive it gets, and it just wouldn't look good like DTG would. So, but that said, there are some things to be aware of with DTG. So first, prints on dark and colored garments can sometimes appear less vibrant and a little bit grainy versus screen printed designs. So that's one area where screen printed can outshine. But in my opinion, it's not enough, like it's not like you shouldn't put any print on demand or any direct to garment designs on dark or colored garments. That's what we put most of ours on in MyStar, and those are our best sellers, and we don't get a lot of returns on them. Sometimes the pre-treatment can react to the garment and can leave an obvious stain. This should be caught by your print provider, their quality control, and this should not be sent to your customers, but that's not always the case. So you hear some people being like, oh, my customers I had a customer complain about this square, this like yellow square around their shirt or something like that. That's a defect from your print provider. That should not have been sent to your customer. And DTG doesn't work well with all garment types, such as polyester garment and other sports shirts that have a low cotton content. It's made to work well with cotton shirts.
Mhm.
So there are things that you got to be aware of. If you are concerned about quality, just order samples from one or a few print providers. Check it out for yourself. See if
What
you would be happy with that
I
quality.
would just jump in real quick and just say,
Yeah.
and actually, you're about to talk about print providers, but
Mhm.
don't. I think a lot of people, they maybe order one sample from one print on demand. It's like maybe they're starting out or whatever, and they go to this print on demand. They're like, I'm gonna order one sample, and when they get that one bad sample, they immediately think direct to garment's garbage. It's like
Mm.
if you actually try out 3 or 4 or 5 print on demand providers, what
Mhm.
you're probably going to see is pretty drastic quality differences between those.
Yep.
And man, like I've done, I feel like I've done so many reviews on YouTube of all the different print on demands. There was one where we did a quality shootout. I think it was the top 12 or something like that, 10 or 12. And to actually just order the t-shirts and see all the same design side by side,
Mm.
um, man, it's like they're so different. They're
Yeah.
just so I mean, you could have the same red. You know, I have this Taken Perfect Action tee. That's what I would use in these reviews. And it's this same red color, and one would be orange, and one would be pink, and one would be like crimson, and one would be bright red. Oh, that's the right color. And then, it's just like, don't, it's not necessarily DTG that stinks. You got to find a print provider that has consistent good quality and one that you can rely on. That can make a big difference. You can get such different results. That's the
It's so
same with
true.
screen printing though. Same with screen printing, right?
It is. Oh, dude, man.
What?
Okay, so I want to tell like a really, really quick story. So when we were looking for local screen printers in the Phoenix area, for our best-selling products, we actually tested 3 different screen printers, and one, their sample was absolutely brutal. I was like, there's no way. Like, this is your sample? Like, shouldn't that be where you're like a little like you
You
do
make
an
sure it's
extra
good.
quality check because this could lead to a huge order coming your way. And then we did another one that was really good. And my brother and business partner was like, oh, maybe we should like spread the order across 2 different local screen printers so that we're kind of diversifying. We have 2 different people to go with in case one does something or raise their prices a lot or ends up being really bad quality. And so we actually like this was such a red flag when we ordered that like first one and like it was brutal. So we asked for a second one and we were like, this is a terrible sample. Like, I don't know what happened. Maybe this was a mistake, but this is just really, really bad. Can you guys send us another one? And they sent one and it was like better, but it wasn't as good as the other one. But we wanted to play it safe and diversify by spreading our order across 2 different local screen printers. So we ended up ordering like half of our stuff with the one that was the better one and half with the one that had a really terrible sample and then had a better second sample. And man, that company, like it was that we should have listened to the red flag. We made a massive, massive mistake. The quality was terrible across the board with that screen printer, like terrible. I was like, how do they get any customers? And how
Yeah.
does anyone ever go back to these guys? Like it was way worse than even some like bad DTG stuff. Like they made so many mistakes. They literally missed design elements on the shirt altogether. Like they were just not in there. And then like there was an uneven distribution of ink, like the screen print ink. It was really heavy in some areas and really light in others. It was so bad. We actually had to like we had to donate a whole bunch of that
Oh
product. We
gosh.
didn't want to like throw it out, but we knew it wasn't sellable and they weren't going to give us a refund on it. So we're like, okay, well, we're never using you guys again. And
Yeah.
then we end up just eating the cost for it.
One of the things I've seen with screen printing, like I've seen this so many times in my own orders, especially is you order like 100 t-shirts, and the way that screen printing works is, not to get deep into it, but you have this screen that has these little tiny holes in it, and you're pushing ink through those holes to basically make an image. And it's not always a manual process, but in many screen printers they're doing it manually.
Mm.
You can get these big automatic presses, but they're working in these warehouses that, I mean, not always maybe the they're not super high-end employees always. And these facilities sometimes, a lot of times, don't have air conditioning. I mean, it's just a warehouse. And so if the tiniest speck of dust hits that screen and you print those t-shirts, it's like you'll just get an extra dot or something, something gets in that screen. And so I've had runs where like 100 t-shirts and like 75 of them have just this spot of white or spot of red, like random. It's like, where did that pixel sneak in there or something? It was just like, whatever happened when they burned the screen or something, they had some dust in there, something along those lines. And then the other thing I think it's important for people to know as I'm just wrapping up my thought here, but important for people to know that when you're screen printing, you're not relying on a machine to pick the right color as you are with DTG. It's a printer. The printer's just trying to match the color based off of, the art, the digital art and everything. With screen printing, they're literally going to a shelf that has about 100 different colors of ink, and they're holding up a paper of your design or a laptop, and they're just going, I think it's that red. I think it's that blue. And it's like, I get some weird colors on screen printing sometimes, and like a lot of screen printers, if they're smart, they'll have you actually submit the actual color code and everything, the actual tone of that color. And that does help, but it's still sometimes to get those exact colors, they're having to mix inks together and different things. Yeah. You can get some odd colors. So it's not, people like to complain about DTG color, but you can get some weird stuff on screen printing too, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And just taking it back to DTG and kind of going on what you were saying, like a lot of the times it's not DTG, it's the print provider. Like not all print on demand providers are created equal. I worked with a really, really terrible one for a while, and I stuck with them because they had super low prices. We were one of their top performing clients. And so we were able to negotiate like crazy good deals. And it actually got to a point where the quality was so bad, so consistently, that we were like, this is absolutely affecting our brand. This is going to affect repeat customers. And in the long run, this just is not good for our company. And we switched and we paid significantly more for fulfillment costs to go to Printful. So we moved over from this company to Printful. And it was one of the best things we ever did. We got more repeat customers, higher customer lifetime value. Our brand, we were able to increase our prices because the quality was better, and we were actually able to like match the perceived value that we showed online. And we were able to have branding options. Like we were able to do so much. I only wish we switched over sooner, because margins, like if you're only making one sale per customer and no customer ever comes back, that is a recipe for failure, in my opinion. Like your goal should be to try to get customers back as many times as possible. Really, like there's 3 ways to make money. You can get more customers, you can increase average order value, or you can get your customers to buy more frequently. And if you can't do that third one, that's going to really, really work against you. And that's where quality really matters. So like Carrie said, not all print providers are the same. Many times it's the print provider that's the reason for the poor quality, not the actual technique. So this is why it's so important to select a print provider with a good reputation and make sure that you order some samples to make sure that you're happy with the quality. I would recommend ordering more than one just to kind of, see. But do you have any more thoughts on that, Carrie?
No, man, I think that covers it. Those are, I think, 5 really good myths that we busted. We just destroyed them. We just destroyed those myths.
No, I mean, there's a lot of the myths, there is some legitimacy to, but you can very easily bust them with some common logic too.
Yeah.
And so, these are probably things that people that are looking into this hear all the time. And so it's so nice to hear, to be able to share as people have had success with this. There are so many people having success with print on demand. And it's nice to share with people and let them know, like, no, like you can absolutely, like, these myths are just excuses. Like, do not let them hold you back. Get out there, take action, try it for yourself. So
let me leave you with this. I had a meeting with a print on demand company. I don't know if I'm at liberty to share. I think that these numbers are public, but I'm not going to say them. I'm not going to say who it is. But a big print on demand company the other day about some work that we're doing together, and this should give you, I guess, a lot of proof of how good, how great print on demand is doing, because this is reflective of the people selling, me and you and thousands and thousands of others.
Yeah.
This was one print on demand company, and they're hitting peaks of 10,000 orders per day.
Whoa.
10,000 orders per day from this print on demand company.
Those are goals right there.
Yeah, it's just like this is a really big print on demand company, but it's like, and they're probably not even in the top 10 biggest. And 10,000 orders per day. You're just like, man, these are people like me and you selling. Like, print on demand is growing each and every year. And you can look at some of those numbers, and Printify and Printful publish their numbers every year. And you can actually go look at a lot of their revenue numbers. And sometimes they'll talk about those order numbers, and they'll talk about Black Friday and what those holidays look like. And print on demand is healthy. It's always growing, more products, all those kind of things. And so don't use these myths as an excuse to not start or to not take action. Do it.
Yeah, 100%. I just hope that this episode talks some people out of not taking action. That would be my hope for anyone listening to this. If you were on the fence about whether you print on demand and that something here sways you to say, screw it, I'm going for it. Good for you. I hope that that's the outcome of this episode. So I guess we'll wrap it up there, Carrie, if there's nothing else. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are so awesome. This is episode number 13. We just love doing these episodes. We've got so much more coming for you guys. Please comment on YouTube, comment, share, and follow us on podcasts. We don't want you to miss an episode, and we are always here to help. So if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out, DM us on social media, or comment on the YouTube videos. We love you guys. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. If you could, please leave us a review and follow the podcast on whatever platform you are watching from or listening on. We're putting out brand new episodes each and every Friday. So you want to make sure, if you're on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, that you're following the podcast. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and you can also hit the little bell icon to make sure you get notified when new episodes release. Every Friday, we're here. We're bringing you content. Thanks for listening today, and we'll talk to you soon.